is another Wednesday. That has brought us all together here. I want to take the time to start out by saying, like I always do, thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. Time is a valuable thing, and spending a little bit of yours with me is really, really greatly appreciated. So thank you guys so much. Let me make my usual adjustments here. I was running a little late, so I literally just sat down. Let me move this over a little bit. Yeah, that's better. I like that framing a little bit better. How is everybody out there? I am doing fine. As usual, I will start out this conversation with a little bit of what's been going on here at Upstairs to the Right studio. Ben Allmark in the house. Welcome, sir. How you doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing okay. I hope you're well too. Um, yeah. Well, actually, interestingly enough, um, I started recording again, and it has been a minute since I have started. Well, I'm composing all along, but it's all up in here, which doesn't do anybody any good until you get it out to here. So, you know, that presented a couple of issues because I had completely stripped myself down of some essential recording equipment after the last album. But I recently picked up an inexpensive recorder that I wanted to kind of downscale and simplify my recording. I wanted to get away from the PC. And that's been working out interesting enough. And it led me also to start thinking about how I wanted to record my guitar parts. And you know, before I ran my guitar through an amp, mic'd the amp, and then I ran that through a splitter, and I had a dry signal and a wet signal. And you know, that worked for me for a long time, usually two microphones. But times change. I don't have the big studio that I used to have. I don't have the luxury of recording as loud as I want to either. And for the second half of the Asanoki 2 album, I recorded that here, you're right here in this room. And stopped, well, on If We Were Made for Each Other, one of the tunes on that album. If you're interested, go to this channel's main page and you'll see a link there for Asanoki at bandcamp.com. But If We Were Made for Each Other, I did mic my 1x12. It's because I wanted to use a wall pad and there was a certain sound that I wanted to get. So there was one track that I did use an amp on, but the rest of it, I used a device that I got in Singapore called the Cab Zeus. And the Cab Zeus was by GFI Systems, pretty cool amp modeler. It was also good for bass as well as guitar. Used it for both. Amps and speakers, basically, is what it was generally about. They were pretty cool sounding stuff in it that I liked. And so I used it quite a bit for the last bit of that album on the guitar parts. Couldn't really tell the difference. They had a greenback 1x12. I've got a greenback 70s greenback 1x12 in there, and I couldn't tell the difference between that and what I was getting out of the Cab Zeus. But I let the Cabs go in a trade because I wanted to get a Fender amp. So I traded my Cab Zeus in for that Fender Champion 40 that I have. I swapped out the standard cone that's in that, and I put in an Benson in it, and it just sounds great. Because I was thinking, okay, I don't need the Cab Zeus anymore because I'm not going to be doing that kind of recording. Well, when I decided to get back into recording, when I came up with the idea of coming out with a third Aoki album, made of stuff that was released before and new unreleased stuff, unreleased and new stuff. Um, I found myself in the dilemma of needing to have something to hook my pedal board up and record that way again, because frankly, I kind of liked it, and B, my pedal board, in my opinion, is at its epitome as far as good it's going to get, and I really would like to use it for recording. So who we have here? Johnny Dregs, welcome, sir. Amp modelers actually help inspire me. I think they catch much hate. Yeah, I think one of the hate things, and one of the things that worried me at first, is too much. You know, I find that when you're limited with what you got, sometimes you get the best tones out of that. But when you have 30 choices or 40 choices or 100 choices, then, that's a bit much. That's a bit much. So, but the Cab Zeus, like I said, it freed me up. I didn't have to mic. It had a decent greenback 1x12 in it, and that's the sound that I wanted, the sound that I like. So it freed me up from having to mic my greenback 1x12. So they have a lot of purposes to them that are great uses. Noah Reynolds, so many things to know. Yeah, Noah. And, I'm learning new things every day. But it's a good thing, shows you're alive. If you're using your brain, then it just shows you're alive. And that's, one of the things, we can never get too old for new things, I always say. Lewis Stevens, hi, I'm a new subscriber, Lewis. Welcome. And thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. It means a lot to me to have you join the community here. We're here every Wednesday and every Sunday, 11 p.m. Central European Time. I'm based out of Amsterdam. And we have great talks and great conversations. Lately, though, we've had a few bots in the chat. But if this continues, I'm going to reach out and try to get a moderator going here to help me out. But so far, it's all right. I do find them amusing. And welcome, sir. Welcome. Very, very welcome to you. Frederick Rogers. Hey, Frederick. How you doing, sir? Joshua, how you doing, man? The Cookie Monster. Is that what that is? I'm sorry, I don't have my reading glasses. I can't see that emoji. Foolish Flock. That's a nice strat tie neck to the side of you. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm doing up some cleaning back here. This is a funny story behind this one. This is a roasted maple neck that, believe it or not, this is one of the one and only things when I was trying out Temu. And they were selling these for a short while. They don't sell them anymore. I think they got in trouble with that headstock because that's pretty Fenderish. But I had to do a little bit of work. This taught myself how to do fret work. And, really just using the tools, learning how to get these to where they're just perfect. And there's no, I could run a nylon sock against the side of this now, and there's no problem. So I really learned on this. So it ended up, I thought it would, should I trash it, but actually it ended up being pretty nice. So I had this out because I'm cleaning up down there. They're not bad necks. They don't sell them anymore. It was one of those things where they had it for a hot minute. I think Brad, the catologist, got one. My friend Brad. Go on his channel and take a look. He got one. I think everybody picked one of those up. YouTube guys got one of those, and they just disappeared. I still haven't done anything with mine yet, but I'm contemplating. Mr. Lemke saying I'm handsome. Didn't you say that the other day? If you're going to sweet talk me, you got to come up with something else. Johnny Dregs, I have a Temu roasted maple telly neck that was well worth cash. Yeah, these were cheap. I can remember. I think because it was my first thing, so I had the coupons that, discount that they hook you in with. So I think actually it ended up being free, man, to tell you the truth, or very close to it. I forgot. Okay, man. You know, I like you, sir. You can hang around. Anybody that sweet talks me is always appreciated because I don't get it here at home. My cats and dogs are running me ragged this week. So you'll hear, yeah. Yeah, I think that's how it was. You know, a lot of cats said, well, you know what? Let me go on to Temu and see what that's at. Because I had got ripped off on a body part using mark plots, which is the big, you know, kind of online thing here, reverb type thing here. I got completely ripped off. So I said, I'm tired, damn it. I'm tired of buying locally. You know, I'll run to Temu. Of course, we didn't know what Temu was. It was new at the time. And that's how I got that. Foolish Flock. Yeah, I have a nice maple neck. I like rosewood too, but I was thinking maple neck's better. Yeah, I work long hours. Hey man, don't we all? So, you know, back to the pedal board, I was in a position that I no longer had my Cab Zeus. And and I wanted to move from that anyway. To be honest with you, you know, it's a great sounding box. Don't get me wrong, for speaker emulations, but cabin speaker emulations, but it only had a few presets in it, which I know that contradicts what I just said earlier about having too many. But then you can have too few as well. I wish there was a little bit more choice there. Especially in the Fender department because I like the sound of a Fender amp these days. But that was my main gripe with it, so I let it go. I found its replacement and I bought its replacement yesterday, actually. And it's something that I've been looking at for a while. You know, my main concern about all these modeling pieces of gear is that what happens, lights go out at the company that made them, and you get no more software updates or work without, like, you know, we've been burned on some amps by other, like Fenders before with that kind of thing, and software in general. But this one, this one has been around for 7 years now. It's been around for 7 years, and the fact of the matter is that there's not a negative review on it. There's a lot of third-party developers for it in terms of IRs, and it is far more versatile than the Cab Zeus at a fraction of the price. And that's the Mooer radar. So I bought a Mooer radar. But here's the thing, I bought in Japan, and I paid Ichiman Nissan Yen for it, free shipping. Actually, a friend of mine who's over in Japan who's going to be flying here to Europe, so it'll be there's no shipping from Japan to here, so free shipping on that, and both, you know, in Japan and nationally, and that works out to approximately 70 euros. I couldn't beat it. I found it on a used site. I was, of course, as usual, doing my guitar safari. I got a customer who's looking for Greco Rickenbacker. And while I was looking for that, I came across it. I said, that's the one that I'm looking for, because you can't find those here. I went to two music stores looking for one last week because I decided that was the one that I wanted to get. I said, I'll just buy it. I couldn't find it. 70 bucks, 70 euros for a Mooer radar. And it's boxed from Japan, so you know it's clean. It's got no issues. And secondhand, obviously. But that's a deal. So I'm completely stoked about that. You know, it's pretty cool. Let me catch up here. Johnny Drakes, have you seen the Fender Panoverb? Jack Weiss, yes, I have. Man, I really want one. Yeah, you know, I again, this channel is about I'm good. That we can look at those advertisements, and I saw it with Jack White. I like Jack White a lot. And I think, however, when I look at an ad like that, I'm very critical. and I ask a lot of really hard questions. And if you can look at it with a critical eye and still feel that it's something that you want, then I'd say get it. Good memory on your. Yeah, I'm getting old though. My memory is getting shot. I had to be honest with you. It's pretty bad. Sir, please give me a shout out. Scrambling Gango, you got it, man. A shout out to Scrambling Gango, you got it. Foolish Flock, used to be really into pedals. I have a massive pedal board at one point, but now I find myself plugging directly into amps with at most an overdrive fuzz pedal or maybe a simple reverb and chorus pedal. Yeah, that's one of the things that turned me on to, my Laney Club 12 version 1 that has the vintage greenback in it. It does have a reverb tank, but the thing that kind of turned me on to the Fender Champs is selection of reverbs and choruses. The only thing I don't like about it is that they group them together. Uh, but I understand that the new Fender Champ rectifies that problem. A lot more control over the effects in it. So there's one that I'm interested in. But I think it's a 2x12. So yeah, not for me. What is your age? I'm 57 this year. 57 years old this year. Mr. Thornhill, you have made it, sir. Thank you for showing up, Anthony. Man, it's always good that all of you guys, everybody watching right now live, I want to say, take a moment, stop, take a pause, and say thank you so much for showing up. It's a pleasure to have everybody here listening to this tonight. And all of the stuff regarding pedals got me to thinking about the days when I was flipping pedals. I was laughing because once I bought it and once my guy confirmed that he got it, I went to my pedal board and I started moving stuff over to make room. As you know, I have a keep of. I heard what you said there about having a big board. I used to have a big board too, and I decided to just buy a smaller board and limit myself, be as creative as possible with that amount of space to get what I need done. Especially the fact that I'm using it for the pedals and then some kind of output, like the Cab Zeus or now the Mooer radar, directly for recording. And so getting a smaller board really helped. Smaller pedals help. Certainly, I didn't bring one with me as a prop, but the Mooer size. It doesn't run on 9 volt, unfortunately. It has its own separate power to it. However, that's not a big deal. What makes up for that is the fact that it's a mini pedal. It's a micro pedal. And that helps a lot, especially when you're trying to keep your board size low. And I was thinking about all of this, thinking about my pedal board, sitting there moving things over, like ripping the Velcro. At first unhooking it and moving things a little bit, 2 inches to the left, just to make room for that radar that's coming to complete the board. And I'm going to feature that in upcoming content because I want to talk about what I'm doing there with that. But I started thinking about the days that I was flipping pedals. As you know, I had a pedal problem. If you look back at any of my old content, especially in Singapore, I had a ridiculous. I mean, no, I'm not talking about a JHS pedals level of amount of pedals. I don't have Josh's amount of pedals, but I had enough to fill up one of his wall things. He's got wall things. I could have filled out a tenth of that. But that was outrageous. I certainly wasn't going to use those all at the same time. And some of them were quite notable. I had a Bluesbreaker, as you guys may have caught here if you've been around for a while. I sold that, started trading that in for something like that. Right before they came out, because I heard a rumor they were coming out with reissues of those, and I knew the market on those was going to crash. It did. So I sold out at the top on that one. But so a little strategic, and I'm going to talk about that tonight. I had King of Tone for a week. I got it in Singapore, and I had it for a week, and I ended up needing it to trade for a deal for my Les Paul classic gold top P90. So I had a few pedals of note, and I was flipping them too. When I got here, one of the main things I was doing in order to get new gear on this channel was flipping pedals in order to keep it fresh. Back when I felt that I needed to be on that treadmill, that YouTube content creator treadmill. But I was flipping pedals as well. And I found at the end it was leading me to another path of gas. And also, it's something that I didn't want to do anymore for reasons that I'll discuss here tonight, so stick around for that. There's another pathway of gas for me. And it got me to the point where I was moving away from the I'm good motto of this channel. Let's be frank, even I sin sometimes or stray. Sometimes I stray from the path of I'm good. And pedals was always my Achilles heel, but I haven't really talked about my collection, my pedal collection, and why things have come and gone. And I thought tonight, because the Mooer is joining my pedal board for recording that I'm doing, I thought that I would talk, and it had me reflecting on pedals past. And there have been some interesting ones. I thought I would talk about that tonight. I dive into my journey, my iconic pedals that I've had from the Bluesbreaker, the Analog King of Tone, and the Analog Man King of Tone, and why they've come and gone in my collection. So I want to break down tonight the pros and cons of buying, selling, and replacing gear as usual, but I want to share tips specific to pedals tonight, something that I don't talk about as much as I should. Mr. Lamke, good health to you too, sir. Thank you so much. You look like college student age, very young. Thank you very much. You guys are all very nice to me tonight. Blessings to each and every one of you. Is the music scene in Amsterdam pretty good? I would say yes. There is still somewhat of a vibrant live music scene here, which I consider to be, a cultural touch point of any city. Do you have a live scene or not? So yeah. I've had so many Boss pedals at one point it looked like a store display. Foolish Flock says. Boss, my first FX pedals, so I have a soft spot for them. Yeah, you and Prince. Until the day he died, that man only used Boss pedals. Honestly, for the most part, 90% of the time he was using Boss pedals. So all those albums, from Purple Rain especially, all that's Boss pedals. And if anybody wants to say that a Boss pedal is not good enough, just point towards Prince and say, tell him that. Why do I look like Obama delivery by Temu? That's a good one. I'm going to allow that one because that was a good burn. Hello, sir. What is your favorite KSI song? I don't know KSI. I'm sorry, old Joe. I'm familiar with that group. Or if it is, or you're abbreviating, appreciate it if you could tell me. Quite true. And Prince had amazing tone. Yeah, he had an amazing tone. So I thought that if you're a musician, you probably know all too well about gas. No, I'm not talking about the kind you'd after you have a burrito from a dicey truck outside of the Viper room, but the gear acquisition kind of gas. And it keeps us hunting for the perfect sound, the perfect pedal that will change everything. The legendary is a game changer. Which every time somebody on a YouTube review says it's a game changer, I'm like, click, next, next. That pedal that'll change everything is really, again, like I've said, another pathway towards gas. Really what you're doing is it's no different than changing, the pickups, you know, like, okay, I don't like these pickups. I'm gonna pull these out. I'm gonna put in X, Y, and Z brand. Either way, you're chasing tone, which may be there at the beginning and you're just not digging in the right spot, or you're really just, chasing the dragon, as they say. And chasing tone, again, is a pathway to the dark side of the force. Absolutely. So, all you young Padawans today, I'm talking about flipping pedals and why it may be a good approach to helping you with your gas, with your gear position syndrome. Because again, like I said, I acquired my Fender Champ by doing a direct swap plus another pedal. Can't remember which one. Oh yeah, and my Fender load pedal, which I ended up maybe a week later going back to the store and telling the guy, hey, I'm sorry, let me give you the cash difference on because I need that Fender load. I can't live without it. I can't live without it. It's one of those pedals that I've learned I cannot live without. It really makes a difference in your sound. It gives a lift also in an odd way with its boost that you could get out of the EP3. It gives that kind of boost. But I traded pedals to get that, well, a pedal in cash to get that Fender Champ. And I achieved a goal. I traded a sound pedal, the Cab Zeus, in a way, for an amp that had a lot more options to it. So again, I cured my gas in that situation, wanting a Fender amp by flipping. I've had, again, like I said, the Bluesbreaker. I had Dog King of Tone for a week. That I don't regret. Again, there's another situation where I was trading a pedal in for a guitar in that case, at least to offset the cost of it. And I really wish I had kept that. It was actually a great pedal. It was a great pedal. But again, I had to go. I had to make a move, and I used it I flipped it in order to go on to something else. I have this, which is my Klon copy. That, to my knowledge, there's only two of these. I went to a shop in L.A. off Venice Boulevard in Santa Monica. It was an electronics shop, and these guys were building these. They had two of them. And I went there to pick up a completely different pedal that they had for sale. They also sold pedals. Again, like I said, it's a sickness with me more than guitars. And I buy and sell and trade guitars as part of one of my businesses. But I don't have the sicknesses for guitars. I can come and let those come and go. To be honest with you, pedals is a little different. And they had two of these, and they made these. These were 1-to-1 copies of a Klon Centaur. So much so that when I took it to my Dutch pedal guy here to take a look at, he said, "Where did you get that?" I told him the story, and he said, "Hold on, that's a good one." And he's right. There's really no difference between this and an original Klon. Again, like I said, they had two of them in the shop. I don't know if they made more, if they sold others, but that I know of, there's only two of these. But again, I've had a lot of interesting pedals in my time. And certainly all of them, some of them lived up to their hype, some of them didn't. The Bluesbreaker, it was a noisy, low output pedal, and again, I kept this over that. I say, well, I've got this good Klon copy, and I like it better Bluesbreaker. I'm gonna keep that. Funny thing, John Mayall made that same choice. I found out later. He took the Bluesbreaker off his pedal and replaced it with Klon. So there's that. So I've had a bit of experience. There were some iconic pedals I had there and still have. Believe it or not, this hasn't made it to my board. This is not on my board, but it's primarily because of size. Unfortunately, what's one of the drawbacks of, again, having that small pedal board is making that kind of choice. But it's the unique nature of these pedals and the tone of them that's so enticing to me. Always has been. So, you know, I want to talk about how to make wise buying and selling choices. I want to sort of give you an inside guide to what I have been doing, what I was doing. I don't do it anymore, again, for reasons I'll get into here in a minute. How this practice can help or hurt. Again, the hurt will give you an idea of why I stopped. When dealing with your gas, your acquisition syndrome, again, always looking to trade something before you get something new. Um, I touched about this, however. Now, this again is a one of a kind, so you're not going to be able to find this anywhere. It's just one of those flutes. It's like, oh, I don't have my pedals here. There's a Japanese pedal that I have that's a one of a kind that the guy made. Fantastic pedal. But still, there are copies out there that can be had at affordable prices. There is an appeal of selling an old pedal when a newer, possibly better, more affordable version comes along. That was certainly why I was able to let that Bluesbreaker go, because, this kicked its ass and far more versatile. The output was a lot better, and frankly, it was a fraction of the price. Fraction of the price. And by flipping carefully, you can effectively try new sounds without taking a major hit to your wallet, too. Again, I flip pedals to get another pedal that I wanted to try out. And I was doing back and forth with the two guys here in the Netherlands that were dealing specifically with pedals. Going back and forth with these guys and doing exactly that and trying out a lot of different things. I documented some of that here on this channel. This really allowed me, again, to try out some moderately expensive pedals to see whether or not I like them or not. I tried out a couple of JHS pedals, and I interestingly discovered that there's not one of the ones that I tried that I like of any of his overdrives. The Charlie Brown, a couple of the other ones. I just, that I had rolled through here, and I was able to put those and move on to something else. So there is that. I feel the bots are in the house. Let me check here. Hello, where are you from? Ali Akwan says, I am from originally Los Angeles, California. But that was many a lifetime ago. Foolish Block says, I thought that, especially when I was younger, I was like, if I could just get this one pedal, not realizing most tone and sound comes from one's hands and playing, like Stevie Ray Vaughan could probably make anything sound like actually Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah. That's really true. That's so true. But, however, it is good to have good, solid recording equipment. Not cheap stuff, but good, solid, again, where that quality and cost line meets in a good deal. Hello from Israel. Well, hello to you too. I'm from Russia, but I don't know nothing but listening so interesting. Well, that's all right, man. I'm glad you're here listening. Hopefully you're not a bot. What a chuckle. You're not a bot. You look like Obama on life support. You know what? I actually, quite frankly, think that I look better than him. I mean, just to be frank with you, but that's just my own private thoughts. My biggest regret was probably selling an early 70s Silverface Fender Vibro Champ amp, which is one of the models in the Mooer. I was reading through the list of the models, and then they have the Fender Champ Vibro Champ in there. So I said, well, that's cool. See, I've got more choices of Fender amps with that thing, which makes me happy. I've got so many compliments on that amp. Wish every day that I never sold it. Just a great sounding little amp. That's why my Laney, There have been times when I've been pressed to use it in order to make a deal on something. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Can't do it. It's a great amp, and they don't make them anymore. Again, it's not an old amp, but it ended up being a good one. I don't understand that. They come out with the first version, it's great, everybody loves it, gets rave reviews, and they say, let's come out with version 2, and they do everything to screw up what was great about version 1, which is exactly what Laney did in that case, interestingly enough. Bro be a regular at them Diddy gatherings. Now, actually, that was a good burn, but no, that's definitely in LA when I was living there. That was one of the first things I learned. I went to some parties and saw, before the freak off started, and it made me uncomfortable. I've told those stories before. So flipping gear really allows you to try out other things without really putting a dent in your wallet as well. That's another way of looking at it, is can take this and find somebody that has something else that I'm looking for and do a flip for it. I had in my hand when I went to those shops, because I said, hey, I've got this pedal, can I put it against the Mooer? As it turned out, nobody had a Mooer anyway, so the point was good. But I'm always thinking in terms of, I always take a piece of gear. If I'm going to buy something, or I'm setting up a deal where I'm going to get something, I'm always going to try to take something that I have and start that off for getting it. Because again, it gives you discipline. Also, it gives you focus. My Palpatine, sorry. It gives you really focus on what's important in your studio and what's not. It gets rid of all the weeds, clears the weeds out. That's another thing that's really good about that, especially if you have a big collection like some of you out there. Flipping lets you feed that desire to try new things without acclimating an overwhelming collection of pedals, or in this case, may I add, guitars as well. I have different guitars coming through here all the time. I've tried out a lot of different vintage Japanese Grecos and Tokais and Fenders, and I have a pretty educated opinion on them now. But it gave me the opportunity to try them out. The ones that you read about are the ones that I've tried. And I was able to do that by flipping, or in this case, dealing. So again, it lets you feed that desire. I wrote that to really emphasize that's really what wanting something new. Somebody mentioned earlier that they're interested in a new Jack White amp. Again, that's an internal desire to want to try something new, to want to try something different. And I just don't think that that's a good way to go. So there is that. Again, the I'm good rule, or one of the aspects of the I'm good rule, again, the motto of this channel, I'm good, is set a rule for yourself to sell something before you buy something new. Sell something before you buy something new. Now, in the case of that radar that I just got, I didn't sell anything to get it because it's 70 euros. I got it so cheaply that, that's about what I wanted to pay for it with the pedal that I was trading anyway. Over here in Europe, they go for 140. And if you can find it, which you can't. I think Tomon has them, but they may be on back order. But in any case, I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to trade a pedal for it. And Tomon don't take trades. So it was local dealers, and none of them had it. And I'm talking about some guys that have a pretty impressive pedal selection. Have it. So anyway, I found it in Japan, halfway across the world. In that case, it worked out. But generally, I want to try to trade something in on for something. It's just kind of a golden rule of I'm good, is that we sell something to buy something. Let me catch up here. Foolish Flock. Yes, I hate that. Like when I bought my Boss Digital Delay, I didn't know which one to get because there were so many versions of it. Yeah, yeah. There's the Boss pedals. There's they're all going to tell you that whatever the version one pedals, those are the ones that when you go to the vintage guitar show like I just did, those ones are the ones that fetch the highest prices. And I imagine probably in time they'll only continue to go up. I just don't know what the big deal is between. It's just like with rap. I've had a rap pedal. I had a very early '80s rap pedal. And quite frankly, it was a great pedal. You know what? If I could, if it wasn't such a big thing, I would have held on to that rack pedal too. It's just the same. It's just as wide as this. For some reason, it was an era of big pedals. But I actually kind of dug it. But would I see a difference between that and a modern pedal? Don't know. Don't think so. Tina, hello. Good evening. You play the piano today? Yeah, Tina, actually I did. Right here is my keyboard, and I actually did some piano recording for a track that I'm composing for my album coming out here. So yeah, I actually sat down and laid down beautiful piano parts today, actually. Thank you for asking. Foolish Flock. I had an old Sunburst 70s Japanese lawsuit era Greco P bass, was my favorite bass to record, but sadly had some neck truss rod issues. In time it happens. Yeah. Oh, I'm new here. That's all right, Tina. You're always welcome here. Thank you so much for showing up and tuning in. It's really great that all you guys are here. Just always want to take a moment, even the bots. Maddie Two Hats, I'm sorry, man. I did not see you. You were buried in there with the bots, man. You know, you were like Luke, Lana, and Leia when they were in the trash compactor with all those bot parts. I didn't see you, man. How you doing, Maddie? Welcome, sir. The bots can suck it. Yeah, seriously, you got a chance to try out new things by doing that. Is really the takeaway there. Now, some pedals, like I said, hold or increase value over time. Sometimes they'll allow you, if you can hold on to them. It's the big caveat there. Sometimes you can break even or even make a bit of money off of them if you can hold on to them. If I look at my pedal board and look across it, since, like I said, most of those pedals I bought secondhand with the exception of the Little Heat, which was given to me. Thank you very much. Yes, that's on my board. That Little Heat took the place of this as my overdrive. That Little Heat pedal actually is nice, and it's super versatile. It's super versatile. So thank you for that. That was given to me. It is on my, and it's permanent on my pedal board. And I think it's going to sound great running through that Mooer as well, especially setting up with maybe a bass man or something like that. But pedals, however, getting back to the Bluesbreaker, can teach you about what type of overdrive or fuzz. I throw fuzz in there for those who are fuzz heads. What type of, for me, it's probably overdrives. Because again, I'm not overdriving an amp anymore with my recording process. I have to simulate that. So I'm going to use an overdrive pedal, of course, to get a little breath. But that Bluesbreaker really taught me that although it's an iconic pedal and it's got a relatively good use in the studio, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And so getting that opportunity to try those things and find that out, this has nothing to do with chasing tone per se. It was how it fit within the tone that I was looking for. There's a difference. See, there's a difference between chasing tone and creating your own tone or building your tone or really getting a good foundation, understanding, of course, tone. Again, back to the beginning of this live stream, there's a lot to learn. But once you get that down, then building from that, that's a little bit different. And again, you'll avoid gas that way too because you pretty much well know what direction you want to go. You're not just hunting. So the Bluesbreaker really taught me that. It kind of just, said, yeah, it's an iconic pedal and it's this, that, and the other, but it's just not for me for a couple of reasons. Foolish Flock says, I wish people would stop with the Obama comments. You're such a cool dude. I don't get why people troll like that. I just found your channel, subscribe. Thank you, Foolish Flock. Welcome, man. And you're welcome again every Wednesday and Sunday, 11 p.m. Central European Time. Out of Amsterdam, we're going to do this. Don't mind the bots, man. Again, like I said, there was some group or company or somebody trying to take over my channel, and I'm too smart for that. I was like, no, you're not going to help me get my meta whatever, data up or whatever they were offering. And ever since I turned them down, I got these bots. So I know where they come from whence they come. And you have two options. You can let it up, or you can just develop a sense of humor about it. Anyway, like I said, I think I'm far better looking than Obama. That's just my opinion. So again, you guys are hitting the wrong mark. Instead of Obama, you should move in Tiger Woods. Again, that's the bullseye tonight. But you bots keep missing it. MM says, all right, Mr. President, I'll be back another time. You stay safe. Yeah, you take care, man. You take care. Foolish Flock, not to bring up Boss again, but I love the Boss BD Blues Driver. One of my favorite and most used pedals that I currently use. The Blues Driver was a Prince pedal. That's one of the primary overdrives that he used. You definitely look younger than Obama. He's getting up there. Plus, all that chicanery tends to wear in one's face. And I have that going on. Now, one thing I will say is the logistics of flipping. I think it's wise for me to touch upon it for a moment. First of all, finding the buyer. Shipping issues if you're going country to country, which can take time and effort. You want to kind of build up a network. I've spent the last few years since I've delved into this building a network of people that I know and that they know me. And this is what makes it possible for me to move things. If one person says I can't take it or I'm not interested in that, then I got somebody else in the Rolodex to call. And that's kind of something that I have to do because I do it professionally on a more retail level, let's put it. You could do that as well. Just make that Rolodex a little smaller. Just find a few contacts of people that are of like mind and like to flip and swap things. That's one way of doing it. Selling sometimes can feel like a chore, and it might take away from time you'd rather spend making music. So never do anything that's taking you away from making music. If you're good, you're good. You don't really need it. In my case, I can't get to recording the guitar parts that I want to do because I have no way of doing that right now that's practical for me. Certainly in this case, it not so much as a chore as it is a necessity. And that may be the case with you. Situations change. But always be thinking, is this really going to help me make music better? In this case, I can say yes. Such remorse can happen. EP3 that I sold, I got a good price for it. I always try to get a good price. So I can't complain about that, but I do regret selling it because those things come around now. Servicing them is a pain in the ass. They're noisy, they're heavy, and a lot of other things. But I'm here to tell you that honestly, it made some of my recordings have a tonality to them that I have to admit, from a production standpoint, cannot be duplicated. And so I do regret that, especially now when I want to record again. I'm like, oh, I wish I still had my EP3. That would be great. So, really, seller's remorse can happen with you. So, do be careful what you trade. Don't be so, that's one of the things is like, well, I've got that. Well, this guy's got this. Hey, I've got this. Let me say, maybe I'm being a little bit too quick there. Sometimes I have to stop myself, say, hey, slow down, Mike. Is that something you really want to let go of? Is that something that, you're going to need down the line for yourself? So, there is that. I have had seller's remorse for that very reason. Some of them are really now, like that analog King of Tone. I got it when it was 700, I think I paid for it. Now it's doubled in price. Again, one that by then the guitar that I traded for, I used it for recording. The first Asanoki album is completely, most of a lot of that Les Paul on the guitar tracks, but and the Telecaster. But would I rather still have the pedal? Yeah, yeah. But again, would it fit my pedal board? No, because it's actually bigger than this. It's bigger than a rat pedal. So that again, mixed feelings on that one. It can sometimes become its own personal version of gas, guys. The very reason why I stopped doing it. I stopped doing it because it was just me feeding my gas again. Oh, let me try this. Oh, let me try this. And I wasn't settling down into anything. And I became kind of wandering and aimless through the desert, so to speak, of tone. I was wandering through the desert of tone in a sandstorm. And honestly, I just said to myself, this is no bueno. This is no good. I can do this. This is not healthy. And even though at one point I wasn't recording, but it was just another version of gas with me. And so I stopped. I'm pretty much with this Mooer radar. I can tell you I'm done building pedal boards. That will complete that one. And it will be just great for a recording guitar track the way that I want to. So I'm just warning you guys that this cycle can distract from your music making. If you're younger out there and you're seriously out there trying to make it, don't get into the gear trap. Get the best stuff that you can get. Try to hold on to it. I know that's hard these days, but if you can, get the best pieces you can and be happy with what you got. Just be grateful for what you got. And don't, if you can flip things without affecting your gear, then do that. And that's what tonight is about. Again, I always talk about one of my bottom lines on or under current themes that go throughout all of my live stream discussions, mostly, is about saving money and being smart about this. I grew up during a time in my 20s in Los Angeles working in the studio system when, in the 90s, when it was flush with money. And I was making good money, enough where I had a nice apartment, had a nice car, and I had a social life outside of, the crazy life in the studio. And working in the studios, a second engineer and first engineer in some cases, and producer in some cases. Intern. But honestly, those days are gone. And now, as musicians, it really behooves us to try to find the most effective ways that we can in order to save money. Because even if you record a great album, what you're going to get from that album, even if you release it yourself, is a fraction of what you used to be able to get for it back in the day. So, producing and that album at the most cost-effective way possible has always been my goal since I was a teenager, and I was scraping money together to get into the studio. Even now that I have a home recording options available to me, I'm always trying to find the best and least the best cost-effective way to achieve professional recording. And that's an underlying current through everything that I discuss. Got a couple of things here I can see. Foolish Flock. Recording is hard for me because I love recording stuff spur of the moment, and finally by the time I set up everything to record, the inspiration almost gone. That's why I love old 4-track cassette recorders, and that's why I changed the way I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream that I was getting away from using my DAW, and I bought a recorder in order to go a little less high tech, a little more low techy. I got the Zoom R8, and I've done some preliminary recording on it, and I am happy with it. I think that I can. It's quick. It's set up. You turn it on. You plug in. You're ready to go. I don't have to turn this on, plug this into that, set the routing. I don't have to do any of that stuff. It really is one of the reasons too why I switched over to and bought that R8. Well, actually traded in for that R again, another trade piece of gear for that R8, because that was exactly my complaint. I can always transfer the tracks into my DAW to finish them, but to get the inspiration down and things moving very quickly and record quickly, which I like to do, I'm just kind of digging the direction that this R8 is. So I understand that completely. Completely, I understand. So do your homework, guys. Watch reviews, test the pedal if possible, and make sure it's a good fit before purchasing it if you can. That's one of the benefits of having music stores, if they let you demo pedals. If you don't have that option, which that option again is getting less and less every day, then you need to listen to a lot of reviews. Every review I heard about that JHS Charlie Brown was fantastic. And when I got mine, it was a noisy jar bees sounding on a pedal that just didn't work for me. Again, or maybe it just didn't work with my pedal. You know, again, there's some pedals that don't play nice with other pedals. That's another thing they don't tell you out there. And, you know, and every pedal on my board, another reason why it's on there is because it plays nice with the other pedals. So there's that. The value of borrowing or renting is, you know, the opportunity of borrowing renting is something that might be available to you to try to test a pedal before committing. There is that. I throw it out there. It has different situations. But keep a core collection. Covers the basics. And flip anything extra that doesn't truly add to that sound. That is what I do. I have kept a core. I have a core pedal board. Anything else that comes in, even, you know, even something like this, because it doesn't work in my pedal board, it doesn't fit, it's too big. And as good as it is, if something comes along and I can flip this, I would do it, guys, because again, it's extraneous. It's not on my board, so it's not making music. If it's not making music, it's not helping me. And again, you know, I modeled that board to flow in the direction of a Fender amp, in terms of tone. And even the overdrive, that little heat works well with Fender amps. It's at a very clear direction in terms of what tone I want to get out of that pedal board. And, you know, that's my core. And I won't let that go. But everything else is extraneous and can be flipped, is subject to go. Having a few go-to pedals versus having a huge friggin' collection, by the way. Again, like I said, frees your mind up and frees you up to do your music stuff. Frees you up to do what you really should be doing with those pedals in the first place, and that's creating music. Not too many choices, not too few is a good place to be. We'll start out with a few, but we don't want to get lost in the thicket of having too many choices. You see these rock stars with all these guitar collections, but at the end of the day, they're only playing one or two. You know, so something to think about for yourself. So try new gear is something you can do. Minimize the financial impact by studying which is that you're buying, knowing whether it fits you or not, and refine your preferences and know the direction that you're going in with your sound. And also, there are a lot of cons. There's a hassle of buying and selling. Of course, not everybody likes dealing with people. There's potential regret of doing something that you wish you didn't. And there is the danger, again, of the dark side of gas rising up and it becoming a gas situation for you. So there is that. But in my case, on a small minor level recently, it has helped me fight gas because, again, I won't buy anything really unless I can swap something for it. Again, like I said, I lucked out and found really super cheap, good condition in Japan in the box, Mooer radar for €7. Try beating that. So that's an exception to the rule. And €70 is okay if you're going to pay out. But something to think about, guys. All right. I think I've beat that horse to death. I think I've made my points. I think I've made several points there if you're interested in going in that direction. Foolish Flock says, exactly, I was looking at the R8. I read a great review on it. I'm really behind slow technology and heard the R8 is one of the more simpler, easier multi-track. Of course, by having one now, Foolish Flock, I can tell you that there's a slight learning curve to it, but not really that severe. One of my criticisms of it is the EQ system is a little lacking. However, depending upon what you put into it, if it's already EQ'd the way you like it, then that's not really a big deal. And again, you can take the files out, put them into your DAW, and finish it up that way if you so wish. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm going to see how it sounds with a completed project. Again, like I said, I can't do my guitar parts until the Mooer comes, so that's kind of done. Although the built-in preamps, and there are some built-in modelers in that Zoom. By the Zoom is famous for their guitar. I use Zoom guitar pedals on stage, so a lot of those are in it. They're not sufficient for what I need to do, but it is there. Ben Allmark, I have the L8. I'm curious what the differences are. Well, that's a good question. Let me take a look here. Oh, the live track. The live track, honestly, if that's what you're talking about, the LA, yeah, the live track. Let me look here. Well, first of all, your input are a lot better. You got professional XLR inputs there. That's not something that you have. I think you have two on the R8. It's in the next room, so I don't have to look at. And your control surface is probably far more. Your EQs and things like that are probably far more superior as well. So that's one of the things. Just looking at it here, just off the top and reading the Dutch. The Zoom live track is on APA mixer Maron Wandwege. My Dutch reading is terrible. Atemin functional ook utrumate grastic voor. Okay. Anyway, we won't butcher my country folks here that I'm living in language. But that's what it sounds like. Yeah. Yeah, you have a far more sophisticated mixing section, is what it turns out to be. I read that David Gilmour from Pink Floyd used cheap Zoom multi-effects pedals to record most, if not all, his demos. Yeah, again, there's the guitar player for Genesis. What's his name? He uses a Squier. Squier guitars, Squier Strats, and Affinity Strats at that. Not even, not even a classic vibe. He likes Affinity Strats. Yeah, again, like I said, there's tones to be found in those things. And if you're a creative person, you can find them. As opposed to a diamond in the rough and finding something there, or just living your life living off of somebody else's presets. How are you going to find your own tone if you're always living off somebody else's presets? Stuff like that Zoom, and I used it on stage myself. If you look at my live performances, if they show my pedal board, see that it's a Zoom multi-effects. About that big. I used to have it sitting over here in the corner, but I got rid of it. I'm sorry, I should have kept it but sentimentality is catch, and sometimes I won't allow myself. If I let it go. Let it go. But yeah, I played one of those. All right, guys. I'm tired. It's been a long day, so I am going to say thank you so much to all of you for taking the time to write to me here in Russian, and all the bots for bringing a sense of humor to tonight. Alex, hey, how you doing? My nephew showing up is always a positive thing, a good thing. I want to thank all you guys for showing up tonight. It is now past midnight here in sunny Amsterdam. Not sunny at all. It's freezing. But it's time for me to go Betty bye. So with that, I want to thank you for showing up, for tuning in, each and every one of you. Again, we'll be back here on Sunday night for the live stream. I've got some content I'm going to be filming up this week, probably tomorrow or Friday, so look out for that as well, my regular content. Got a subject I want to discuss. You guys take care of yourself. Have a good rest of the week. Be safe out there, and I will see you this weekend. All right, guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.